Welcome to the In Memory of Man podcast, a show dedicated to the brave new world of crime, artificial intelligence, and you. The future is now. Here's your host, criminal trial lawyer, researcher, and author, Robert Kiesling.
Hello, welcome to the In Memory of Man podcast, Robot Crime Blog. I am your host, Robert Kiesling. I do the research so you don't have to. This is episode 13. Folks, after you hear this, you need to pass this along to anyone and everyone that's going to listen to you about this. I'm going to have the link in my podcast. I will also have the link to this article, and I think it was released 7 hours ago, and also in my YouTube video as well for the vlog. I'll just get right to it. So MIT, Harvard, and an Israeli startup company are developing software as we speak, artificial intelligence, yes, artificial intelligence, that they say they're going to use to diagnose everyone, whether or not they have COVID-19, simply by their voice, by their voice. Does that not disturb you? And we'll get into some examples so I can really hit home the terrifying fact of speculation involved with this alleged artificial intelligence and the black box. We always talk about that, but we can go back. But if you combine that, right, with what Facebook is doing with self-diagnosis and speculation to determine hotspots, and then also there's another article I read that's going to be involved with our discussion today about how they're determining these new hotspots in urban areas, in rural areas and small cities, which is completely ridiculous based on, again, speculation and what they say is self-diagnosing of people, and then they use that data to determine that new hotspot. All right. So the first article is called, "Do I Sound Sick?" ? Researchers build AI that would diagnose COVID-19 by the way you talk. So what they're doing basically is they're creating this algorithm, and they said that they have these samples from people, and they think that they can determine whether or not, eventually, whether or not you have COVID just simply on your phone if you talk and then say that you have it. This is without testing. This is without validation. This is without being blood tested for the COVID-19 virus, or however the multiple ways that they can test you for it. Now think about this. So if you have cancer, right? If you have cancer, so they can tell the difference between COVID and cancer and that marker. What about if you have a cold, right? And that cold, they can tell the difference between that and the COVID virus, which they're of the same family, which is, okay, think about that. And then, all right, what if you're drunk, right? And you're slurring your words and the way you talk, but somehow that matches the marker. What if you're smoking MJ and you are smoking cigarettes? Even that somehow, what if that ties into what they're saying is alleging that you have this COVID virus by pure speculation based on coders, people coding something into an algorithm, and then that algorithm goes and searches for what that particular marker or that particular voice in that marker, which is just, people think about that. That's terrifying. Now, it's no different than the next article I'm going to read, which combines, and I'm going to combine them both, right? There could be 22 emerging COVID-19 hotspots in small cities or rural areas in 8 states that are lifting lockdown restrictions, analysis of social media coronavirus post reveals. All right, here's the problem with that, right? So if you have that, if you go on to read the article, they're looking at firsthand account of symptoms, right? And this is based on what people are telling them these symptoms are. And they all seen an increase in the number of social media posts related to COVID-19. Again, let me read that. All seen an increase in the number of social media posts related to COVID-19. People, this is the same thing that I told you about in the last podcast with Facebook. This is even scientific. They're not looking at your blood. They're looking at these, you sign up for an app, and then you put in there whether you sneezed, you coughed, you farted, any of these things that could be construed as a symptom, and then they go ahead and just all of a sudden label it if they see enough of that, right? I mean, what about allergies? What about the flu? What about what about all these different scenarios that could happen? And then I'm giving you the nightmare scenario here. So, okay, let's say that they do this, right, based on these symptoms, right? What about if a neighboring county, what if someone's traveling, what if someone looks into this, or just say your county, right? And then these neighbors are giving information on other neighbors, and they're snitching on other neighbors, allegedly snitching on other neighbors for saying that they're leaving work, right? And they came home, they looked sweaty, they looked hot. That say, oh, they look like they had a temperature, right? And then you have this snowball effect, all based on speculation. Speculation in court is never used because it's useless. And now they're using this very speculation that you are giving these companies to design and to give this information to your governments, right, to tell them the next alleged hotspot, along with saying, hey, you know what, we can also determine it by your voice. Imagine this, right? Months from now, people are knocking on your door and saying, hey, we heard you on the phone. Well, how did you hear me on the phone? Right? Oh, because, you have that exception in your phone just because of the COVID, and we've been listening to your conversations, and your voice, well, you tested positive for COVID through your voice. You tested positive through COVID through your voice. What? And then on top of that, you got the Facebook. And what if they combine those, right? Facebook and then the other company, I don't know what the other company's name is, but it's in the article again. You can see the articles in my podcast and also in the vlog and the posting on YouTube. They combine that with this alleged symptoms, right? This is, I mean, it's going to cause panic. It's going to cause invalidation conclusions, right? It's going to cause governments to do things that they shouldn't be doing based on false information, all because these tech companies saying these algorithms they're not fallible. And so, wait a minute. So they're not fallible. Well, facial recognition, right, is obviously fallible, and you saw that through the camera and through the major company that there is. I think it's Clearview, right? That we had to recall the camera because it was recording and it was invalidating the recognition of the facial software. People, it's complete ridiculousness, and if you continue to put up with this, I don't know what to say. You got to get this out. Do your homework, do your research. And I want to say, in these articles, right, you see the words maybe, right? You see the words could, right? So I just wanted to point this out real quick. Well, maybes and coulds, right, are nothing. You need facts. You need it is, absolute, shall, right? Period. Not could, maybe, should. And then you're going to possibly ruin people's lives in quarantine towns, quarantine cities, quarantine states, quarantine countries, right? Based on this false information. Think about that. All right. Quote of the day, George Orwell. If you want a vision of the future, picture a boot stomping on a human face forever. Well, let me give you a little bit of my quote on that and interpretation. A robot boot stamping on a human face forever. That said, if Skynet doesn't take over, or, well, any other tech company at this point, I will talk to you next week. Take care. Bye.
In our world, there will be no emotions except fear, rage, triumph, and self-abasement. The sex instinct will be eradicated. We shall abolish the orgasm. There will be no loyalty except loyalty to the party. But always there will be the intoxication of power. Always, at every moment, there will be the thrill of victory, the sensation of trampling on an enemy who is helpless. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you.